Welcome back to the fourth of my 5-part series of using the same stamping plate for 5 different manis. Today I'm going to show you guys how I did this manicure using one stamping plate and several different dip powders. I will be using 2 powders from All Powdered Up and a color from Revel Nail. It's a recent release of theirs. And also the stamping plate. I want to do this plaid design and also the Merry Xmas and a couple other things. So I'm going to show you guys how I do simple stamping and layered stamping. So the main color I'm going to be using here is Holly Berry. So I was going to use Dear to Dream, but I ditched it. I was like, you know what? We're going to go for no glitter. I can't believe I'm not using glitter. Anyways, Itzel is one of Revel's brand new nude collection releases. They came out, I believe, with 12 brand new colors for nudes ranging from really light skin tones all the way to darker skin tones, and they have some really gorgeous colors. I got Itzel and another one that was a rich dark brown, I believe with red undertones. I'll have to look up the name in a second. I chose to use Itzel as the base on this mani for both of my stamping designs because when I was trying this mani out on swatches and I was testing it out, I was using a dark base every single time and it looked horrible. I'll show you guys how it looked at the end. But when I used a light base, it looked really good and my idea really came to life. So I chose to use Itzel because I wanted to use a powder that was brand new to me instead of picking up something I've already used several times before. So I'm pretty much done with using Itzel, but there's this green color from All Powdered Up called Pinch Patrol. It came out last March for their St. Patrick's Day collection. Yes, so I'm using that one on my thumb today, but I want to also pull that color into my mani. So I'm going to do a scrub ombre on my ring finger and then do nail art on top of that. So what I'm going for is I'm going to scrub Pinch Patrol around the perimeter of my ring nail, leaving the center untouched. So it's mostly just purely nude, and then it's fading into the green. I don't know what this is going to look like. I hope it looks good, but we'll see and judge at the end. If you're not familiar with how I do scrub ombres, I find it easier to scrub over a clear dip powder, so I always use the color base that I want to use, in this case Itzel, and then I dip in clear, and then I scrub whatever color I want to stain with over the clear. It picks up so much easier than trying to scrub a nude. So this is kind of the look right now. So I'm going to work on my other 2 fingers, my pinky and my index, and I'm going to dip those in Holly Berry. I love this color. It is so gorgeous, so rich, so deep. It's not your traditional Bam Santa red, and I love that so much about this. Like the deeper reds and greens this year have really been a thing. I've seen several brands release colors like solids and glitters like that. And I'm going to actually show you guys my inspiration for this mani and where it came from, which is actually from fabric. So it's not just dip powder companies that are pulling inspiration from these color tones. It's a whole bunch of different companies. So I'm going to finish dipping and I'll leave you guys to it, and I'll see you when I'm ready to do the nail art. I know my ring finger looks crazy right now, but the rest of the colors are really speaking to my soul. So I'm going to go ahead, activate all my nails, file, shape, and buff off camera, and I'll be back. I do not have a stamping polish that is similar to Holly Berry, but I do have a nail polish from Revel Nail called Cabernet that is similar to Holly Berry. And lo and behold, Cabernet stamps. It's not as pigmented as a stamping polish would be, but it still works. And I don't know if you guys know this, but I've stamped before with Revel Nail polishes. Sometimes you have to go in for a second layer for the pigment to really just show up in depth, but look how perfect that is. Doing it on a light base means it showed up perfectly. Now I'm actually going in with a stamping polish. So I'm using this design here on the lower left side of the stamping plate, and I'm actually not using the entire design. I'm going to remove most of the design from my stamper and only use one strand of these leaves. And I'm basically going to frame it around the Merry Xmas quote. And then I'm going to repeat it again at the top of the Merry Xmas. I know this ring finger did not make sense at first, but I hope now that you notice that I've added greenery to shape and frame around the border of this nail, you understand why I wanted it stained in green. So now I'm actually going into the plaid stamping. This one took me a few tries to figure out which one went first. So that's why I did Itzel as the light base of my solid on my nail. And then I did a dark color, which is this green, and it's going to cover the majority of this nail. And then I'm going to take Cabernet, the polished stamp, and it's going to do the next plaid design on the right-hand side. And then it's going to go right over this nail. So now I've managed to tie in the Holly Berry and Cabernet onto every single nail, and then the green is tied in. So it basically made this mani flow, but I'm not done yet. So on my ring finger, I wanted to add a little more flair. So I'm adding a little bit of white. I took this little tiny snowflake and I'm stamping it in the upper left corner of this nail. And then there's not really many snowflake designs on this plate, so I'm just taking a dotting tool and I'm going to dot little tiny wannabe snowflakes, they're just dots, in random parts of this nail. So there, I'm done with that, and I think that really tied it all in together. So I actually need to clean up my middle finger because there's so much green polish around my nail. I forgot to use a cuticle latex guard. Duh, should have fixed that. But then I'm going to do my top coating. I'm actually going to show you guys this process. I have a whole video on it, but today I do something a little different. So I'm taking this smudge free top coat and applying it over my stamps after they've completely dried. Please make sure your stamps are dry before you do this step, or else you'll smear all of your hard work. I have to let this completely dry before I go into the activator part. So while that's drying, I actually want to show you guys how my mani plan originally and how I messed this up. So I wasn't even going to use this gold one. Dear to Dream was on my mind, but I really wanted Holly Berry, as you can tell. But this is Gilded Garland. It's not even Pinch Patrol. I stamped over this one so many times, but I wiped it off with acetone because I have a gel top coat on. But it just turned out to be a disaster every single time I tried to do the plaid design on top of this green. And I'm going to show you. This one has Holly Berry as a base. I tried to use black polish, white polish, green polish. Everything looked horrible. So that's why after doing this so many times, I was like, I need to do a light color base because it wasn't turning out right on my dark color bases. It just turned out so bad. Now that that's dry, it's time to activate my nails. So I'm using a dropper from a cuticle oil bottle that I got from Candy Skincare, and I filled it with refill activator, and I just drop it on top of my nails. This prevents me from having to use a brush on activator, which the brush can sometimes ruin your stamp when it penetrates the smudge-free top coat. When the activator is dry, I go in with 2 layers of dip powder top coat for a completely sealed, perfect, shiny manicure. This is a great way to seal in your stamping designs or your polish designs without having to use a gel top coat or worry about chipping with the smudge-free top coat. So this is basically the finished design. I'm going to let it air dry and I will come back and show you guys it all cleaned up. So here it is after cleaning up these sides with acetone. I don't want to do too much more because I don't want to ruin the dip powder top coat, but I absolutely love how this manicure turned out. It's probably one of my favorites from this holiday season. What do you guys think?